This is Shutters Inc. with Bruce Williams and Glynn Lavender.
Hi and welcome to episode 576 of Shutters Inc. This is Bruce Williams from shuttersincpodcast.com, and joining me once again from Melbourne, Victoria, from creativephotoworkshops.com.au, it is Mr. Glynn Lavender. How are you?
You know, never bigger, brighter or better. Thanks for asking.
I'm glad to hear it, mate. I am glad to hear that. Are you serious or are you being facetious?
Oh, totally facetious, of course. Okay. Life sucks.
Right. Okay. What have
but
you
the car battery died today, and there's $350 down the toilet.
Ouch. Yep.
There's a rotten bloody frickin'. And of course, in the middle of a car park, it didn't happen at home where there's no one looking. It happened in this car park where there were like 7 or 8 tradies at the very front of my car just standing talking, all in the high-vis vests. And I turned the car over and it's gone brr, brr.
Oh,
and that's it. And then all the lights flashing on the dashboard. Modern cars do. I'm thinking if you didn't do all those flashing lights, you might be able to have enough power to turn the engine over. Bloody thing. So I tried one more time, and then I just sat there and pretended I was on my phone for about 10 minutes until they left. But fortunately, I carry a portable jump starter kit. Like a battery pack that just connects straight to your battery and turn it on, and you just kick your car over and away you go, and that instant turnover, which was good.
Oh, so that did the job
in a second, one second flat. Bang. Wow. Yeah,
awesome.
Best $60 I ever spent.
Yeah, right.
And because when it goes wrong,
is it a rechargeable thing?
Yeah, it's a rechargeable. Basically, it's a power bank, a high capacity power bank.
I'm imagining you wouldn't get too many goes at it before it was flat.
No. Well, I would have thought, but it only went down 5%.
Wow.
Which surprised me. So it didn't
Which
take
would
much
suggest
to kick
you
it
can
over.
get 20 goes at it.
Theoretically, but it's certainly, I'm going to probably, because you keep it in the back of the car. And I was surprised, it's been in the back of the car for probably 6 months. I bought it 6 months ago.
Wow.
I think one day that'll come in handy. Because it happened, I was on a camping trip in this farm field by a lake a couple of years ago, and woke up and the battery wouldn't start, and we're in the middle of nowhere. And I had to walk a country mile to somebody's house and get a farmer to come down with his tractor to kickstart me.
Yeah, right.
So I said, never doing that again. So this little thing, and this has been sitting. So I was surprised it's been back in the car for 6 months since I charged it. It was still at 100%, so it had no diminishing.
Wow.
So that's really good. And comes with all the cables. Just attach it to your battery, turn the engine over. Bing.
That's awesome.
So I was for $60, bloody marvellous. So
yeah, that's great.
I said you pay just about anything when you're stuck somewhere. You're almost prepared to pay anything to get going straight away. You know,
totally. Look, it's the one thing that scares the hell out of me about the Mustang is it does not come with a spare tyre.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So it's just a patch-up kit, is it?
I don't even know if there's a patch kit in there. I have my own patch kit, but
wow.
But I haven't actually put that into the car. I should.
Yeah, probably a good idea.
But yeah, I'm just thinking, the day will come when you do get a flat, and then you're just in a world of
always
hurt.
the most inconvenient time.
Oh, of course, and location.
So no. Why is there no spare?
So there is a well underneath the mat that's in the boot of the car, but that well is only as deep as about half the width of a standard tyre.
Oh my goodness. Right,
so if you put a tyre in there, it's going to be, making the floor not sit straight. And so anyway, it's one of those things.
I reckon I'd buy a spare tyre.
Yeah.
And on important trips,
just throw it in the boot.
Pop it in the car. They go away for a weekend or something. I'd pop it in. It doesn't have even like a space saver tyre, but it's just sort of thin. Because that would probably fit inside the wheel.
Could do.
Maybe the hub. Yeah, and that. Wow.
Yeah.
So it's like private schools, Bruce. You pay more, you get less.
That's right. Yeah. So, what have you been up to in the last 6 weeks?
Oh, it's been 6 weeks again.
Well, it has because it has. No, because the podcast didn't release. And I only found out because Leona Devon reached out to me and said, I haven't heard from you guys for a while. And I was like, no, we only put an episode out 3 weeks ago. And then, of course, I logged into the WordPress. And the thing was, I had actually scheduled it to release.
Sure,
and just for some reason, it just hadn't gone. And basically, all I had to do was just edit the release time to something like, 10 minutes before the time that I was actually looking at it and mucking around with it, pressed update, and it went, oh, yeah, that's been published. I was like, oh my goodness. So I thought, well, there's no point reaching out to you now because we've just released an episode.
It only feels like about 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, well, it's been 6. But I can tell you now.
What can you tell me?
Well,
this is our most successful episode.
So in that episode that we recorded 6 weeks ago, I spoke about having shot my whiskey bottle in the hopes of
that's right.
picking up $1,000 worth of whiskey.
And?
I picked up $1,000 worth of whiskey.
You lucky bastard. Oh, good on you, mate. Oh, I'm delighted for you.
So it hasn't arrived yet, but it has been shipped. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Now, a mate of mine collects rare whiskey. That's about 3 drams.
Yeah, it's four bottles.
Wow. Must be good stuff, though, dude.
Yeah. So there's a 12-year-old, a 15-year-old, an 18-year-old, and a 21-year-old from the same distillery. So, yeah.
Sounds like a Jeffrey Epstein party.
It does, doesn't it?
Too soon? Too soon.
Oh dear.
Well, that's awesome news, mate.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy.
Oh, you should be. Yes.
And what I found out was that there were, I think, 4 or 5 people who all won the same set of 4 bottles. So it was like 4 or 5 grand's worth of whiskey that they gave away. So.
If I'd known that, I would have taken a photo. or submitted my edited version of yours.
Yeah, so that was exciting. So that happened in the 3 weeks between when we recorded and when I actually released the podcast.
That's awesome. Yeah. Oh, that's well, that's just. I'm so delighted for you, mate. I really am.
Thank you. It made all the effort of making a mess of the kitchen totally worth it.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah, and good experience too, and all that stuff.
Totally.
A bit of satisfaction.
Yeah.
It's $1,000 more than any prize I've ever won in a photo competition.
Fair enough.
Yeah. As I say in my talks, I'm Australia's least awarded photographer.
Right. Fair enough.
Yes, I've never entered this competition, so can't win the lotto unless you don't, put the ticket in or buy it. Apparently, you've got to buy a ticket for it. So they'll just give you the money.
Yeah.
So what should do an address lotto? They just pick a random house and say here's $1 million or something.
Right.
Yeah, and just every week, some house in Australia gets $1 million.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah. There you go. And you got 52 weeks a year. There's 52 different houses.
Yeah.
I'm one of 1.6 million houses or something in Australia. So it's somewhere in the next 450, 700 years, not a million years, might have a chance of winning it. I hope my great grandkids enjoy spending that. What would be worth about $8.
If they're lucky, yeah.
No, I've had a busy 6 weeks. Funny should mentioned it. So, first up, it was my kiddo's 18th birthday.
No, what?
I know, 18 years old.
Jeez.
So, yeah.
Wow.
That's a bit of a shock. So, 18 years old, and just had his birthday party on the weekend just gone.
That is crazy.
Kind of odd there. That's all. Now, didn't even get a birthday portrait like I normally used to get. Didn't even get that out of him. So. Yeah. That didn't work. My Bangladesh tour sold out.
Nice. This is for February of next year?
February next year, March, yeah. And so to the point that I'm putting on another one in November, which is about to launch.
Wow.
So back to Bangladesh in November.
November of this year or November of the next year?
Next year,
right.
Yeah, next year.
So 16 months away. Cool.
Well, the problem is, here's the reasoning. I could possibly have put it on for November this year, but there's a different festival we're shooting.
Right.
And if we go there in this November and get these amazing photographs, all the people who are coming in February who won't be getting those amazing photos will be so it's kind of day one of your first tour, and they go, "Why have photos like that?"
Yeah.
Not a good thing. So, and I'm putting on a new for even further down the track for March 27.
Yeah,
a new India tour that I'm running with, little drum roll.
Yeah,
Cam Blake.
Nice.
So Cameron Blake and I are going to run a tour to India, and I'm going to show him the ropes of how all that sort of stuff's done. And
I mean, that's almost 2 years away. You will almost have found a reliable tour operator by then.
Oh, I'm still working on it. I tell you, I'm peddling two off against each other at the moment. So,
right.
But I've been doing some photography too, Bruce.
Nice.
My mate Adam rang me a couple of weeks ago and said, "Can you do me a favour?"
Yeah.
And I learnt something in this last 6 weeks, Bruce. We're discussing somewhere in the family. We're discussing what kind of love do you do?
Okay.
Right. So apparently it's like 4 different types of how you show love.
Okay.
All right. And mine is acts of service.
Yep.
I get the satisfaction by doing things for people,
yep.
and that's my thing. It's acts of service. So when Adam rang, "Can you do me a favour?" Bang, absolutely, because that's me. Acts of service. I love the guy. Do whatever you want.
Yep.
And then he asked me what he wanted. It's like, oh, I hadn't said that. He wants me to go because his kid plays local AFL, Australian rules football, for those overseas. I think he's 8 or 9 years old. I should know really, but anyway, young football players, and he wants me to go down and photograph their team playing.
Okay,
so they can make football cards for each kid.
Right.
So they have they'll get a deck of football cards of everyone they played with this year. And I said, "Yeah, okay, I can do that for you."
Hang on, so you're talking 18 portraits of each child on their own in action on the field?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And by 18, you mean like 25.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's like 18 playing in the field, plus the extras who aren't on. And they've all got to be... There can't just be a kid just standing there. It's got to be him doing something with the ball.
Yep.
And if anyone's ever
ideally you
kids,
want an opposing player in opposite colours in the shot as well.
Or doing something to have some drama. And if anyone's followed junior football in Australia... What tends to happen is there's 18 players on our team, let's say, there's 18 players on their team, and the ground is, 120, 130 metres long by 50 metres wide, let's say.
Yep.
Well, they all tend to conglomerate in one little tiny ball around the ball.
Yeah.
So they all move in this roving pack of 46 people with about a nanometre of space between each one. Except for... There's like 2 kids who have their finger up their nose, standing down one end of the ground, who have no interest in actually being involved in the game. And then some other, on the other end of the ground, there might be 1 or 2 kids just, wandering around, not really paying attention. And then of the 18 players playing, there's about 4 who get 90% of the ball.
Yep.
Because they're the absolute gun players and ball hogs
who want to be there,
and who have the desperation for the ball that they take 90% of all the possessions.
Yep.
And then you have other kids that just stand there as the ball goes past them, and they don't even look at the ball. They just stand there.
It sounds like these kids have been watching my team. West Coast Eagles.
Or my team, North Melbourne. Exactly. They're called witches' hats for a reason. And so it's proven somewhat difficult. I think I've done all things considered. So the first week I went down, I just shot anything I could. Literally anything I could. And then I said, now, here's the photos that are worthy of using. Now tell me what player jumper numbers I need to get next time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because these football cards are done for professional ones, are done like over a season with multiple photographers, all photographing people who actually want to play the game, not one bloke on one Saturday morning for an hour, So I said, give me the jumper numbers that I still need shots for. So then they came back with like about 8 jumper numbers. So I said, okay, so I've gone down, and I think on this Sunday just gone, I think I've got 6 of them.
Nice.
Of the 8. Yep. But the problem is, I figured the only way to get them is when they've been pulled off the ground because they're not doing very good. And at that point, they do a little kick-to-kick with their friends.
Yeah.
And at that point, if you can get a shot of them kicking or grabbing the ball in the air without anyone else in the shot. So I said, okay, look at the shots from this week. Tell me which jumper numbers we haven't got, then I'll come down. And before the game starts, we'll pull this little group to the side for a bit of extra training, lads.
That's it.
And they can do a kick-to-kick to each other. And I'll take photos of them. To be guaranteed at some point during the 3 weeks I've been there, they've touched the ball at least once.
I was going to say, what you need to do is find 2 or 3 jerseys that have different colours to Adam's kids' team, and then just roll up with those and get other kids from their team to put those jerseys on.
But make sure you don't show your face. Just show the back of your head. So it's been challenging, but not fun. Yeah. But a fair amount of stress to you want to make sure you do a good job, and you want each kid's card to look good. Yeah. So, I mean, the graphic designer who's doing the cards is doing a phenomenal job. I've seen some end results of the cards that he's made so far, and they look fantastic. Nice. But you don't want to be the poor kid who has one that he just doesn't look good in it. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Because, that would, I don't want anyone to be teased or picked on by the other kids or whatever. And you want them all to look good. So, but it's been a bit of a challenge.
Nice.
And then I got a new camera.
Oh.
And because I got a new camera, I thought I'd go out and take some photos with it.
Well, that's a random idea.
Well, it's apparently the theory that you should do when you have a new camera.
Okay.
So lovely people who import Tamron into Australia have started bringing in this brand of camera called Clickster.
Okay.
And Clickster is like remember the old disposable film cameras?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's that kind of shape and size.
Okay.
But it's digital. So it's reusable digital rather than display. It's got all the same aesthetics and ease of use and aim point, press the button, snappability of a disposable camera.
Right.
But it's digital without a screen, so you don't get to see the photos you take.
Oh.
And really, there's pretty much only a couple of buttons on the camera. On, off is one button. Yeah. Press the button, take a photo, another button. And there's one other button for classic, retro, and mono. Well, should know that, black and white. So you can do black and white photo, a kind of sepia-ish toned colour photo. It's going to make it look about the 70s kind of look, because everything was brown in the 70s. Yep. And then kind of the classic, just a normal everyday coloration, and it's just a bit of fun.
So you've got no control over exposure, everything's programmed?
Nope.
Yep.
Just press the button. Yep. Press the button, no control over focus. It's literally $100 camera. And it's literally just to keep it in the glove box, you keep it in your bag or whatever, and just take it out and do some happy snaps, And how many images can you shoot on it? Oh, I don't know. Are we talking thousands? I would imagine it's got a removable memory card, right? So I would imagine at least hundreds with the card that comes with it. At least,
yeah, right. Cool.
One shoot, I went out and did 100 photos. That probably doesn't say how many you got left, but I don't think it's going to be a problem. And it just takes a micro SD card, so they're pretty cheap. Yeah, right. But the whole point of them was just to be funsies. Yeah, nice. And the point behind it all, when I saw this camera, is in the midst of, and this is what kind of the main talking point for the night. I'll come back to it. There's a main talking point I want for the evening. Okay. But I'll come back to it because there's a couple other things I've been doing as well. Okay. So in the last 6 weeks, I've launched 4 new Flash workshops. Wow. My first flash workshops in 5 years. Yeah, right. So that's kind of, and I'm calling them guinea pig workshops. Because I want to be able to figure out all the foibles of modern cameras and why they won't bloody trigger a flash and all. So I've given a discounted rate for the first 4 events. Wow! And just so I can just iron out the bugs. I mean, my system's perfect. The cameras are the problem. Yeah, the cameras are the problem. So
I think there's only one. If you haven't run that type of workshop in that period of time, then you're going to be a little bit rusty.
Possibly, yeah. There is a chance. No, my only real concern is actually getting the cameras to trigger bloody flashes. Yeah, because the system is my flash system is all manual flash. I don't use the ETTL stuff. It's a simple formula that works every time, and it's foolproof. So that's not hard. The hard part is, I remember I was in Vietnam once running a tour. we're doing this photo shoot on a railway line between these people living on a railway line between buildings. And when a train comes, it kind of takes up almost all the space between the buildings, and it's a kind of cool train. We had this girl in this beautiful red dress, and there's people walking around and doing this kind of cool flash shot, and everyone was doing no problem at all, except for one lady with an Olympus camera, whose camera would not trigger the flash on anything other than a 20th of a second shutter speed.
Oh, no.
So anyway, I've launched four workshops, and that's my fear, is that cameras having issues. So, but I think there's one ticket left on the 4 workshops, so I'll have a good sample size to make sure that's okay. And I've just started building a new talk for this year's Bright Festival of Photography. And and what I do with that is I build a talk for Bright Festival, and then I go around to clubs around Victoria and run it for them as well. It's got a working title at the moment of Low Hanging Fruit.
Okay.
Yeah. So, we travel photographers to shoot nothing but the lowest of hanging fruit, the easiest of shots.
Yep.
And I had to try and challenge myself to get outside of that. So that's kind of where it's working at the moment.
Nice.
And I'm just building another talk. I just start today because I was got asked today to do it. Is on Tuesday coming up. It's Wednesday today. What day is it today?
Today is Wednesday.
Wednesday, Thursday, and Tuesday coming up. I'm doing a talk to a group of grade 5 and grade 6 kids on photography.
Wow.
And it's about how to tell a story through a photograph.
Nice.
So that's kind of going to be interesting and challenging.
So how did that one come about?
A friend of mine's a vice principal at a school, and said, this is what we're doing, this project, and we'd love you to come along and do something. I said, oh, cool, how much you pay me? They said, nothing. I said, that's my normal fee. No problem.
I normally get twice that.
Sometimes 3 times. So that'll be kind of, and it's interesting again to try and, I always try and pare everything down to the easiest understanding of stuff, but to break it down even further to even a younger audience with even less experience is kind of interesting as well. So I'm doing a variation on my dog car window talk for them.
Nice.
Which is to visualize and how. And for anyone who doesn't know what my dog car window is, that if you think about the word dog, what do you imagine? If you think about the word car, what do you imagine? If you think about the word window, what do you imagine? And if you hear all those 3 things put together, what do you see in your head? And what do you see in your head, Bruce?
A dog sitting in the driver's seat of the car, driving along with one paw on the windowsill and his head hanging out and his tongue flopping in the breeze. And
so 3 simple words can tell a complex story.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the way to approach how do I take a photo of this scene is to find the 3 words that tell the story the best, and then how do you incorporate those into your photograph?
Yeah.
So that's this very, very simplified version of it. There's a little bit more in depth than that, so it's a variation on that film we tell on these young kids. So I'll report back next time how well that went.
Nice.
Or conversely, how it all fell to pieces. And most of their photography is done on iPads, so it's kind of that kind of visualization using that kind of tool as well. So that's kind of interesting. And the last thing I want to talk about before I get on to the main thing I want to talk about is our mate Ren, my favourite current musician, just released the first of a 6 or 7 part series in songs called The Tales of Vincent.
Okay.
Not important. It's not. I mean, it's cool. But this is the prologue. So the first one he's releasing like every 2 weeks for the next, I don't know, 14 weeks or whatever. A part of this song.
A part of the song or a part of the story?
So it was seven. It's part of the story. Sorry. So seven individual songs basically.
Gotcha.
That make up one total story. So quite an ambitious, but it's based obviously around Vincent van Gogh, not obviously, but it's around Vincent van Gogh, but not historically. He's got the opening scene is modern times, so I don't know where the story is going, but it brought up and it's called Sunflowers, and there's some sunflowers on fire in the shot, which is all relevant to Vincent with his sunflower series. But the point of the conversation though is one of these guys I was watching who'd watched the song was talking about it. He said it reminded me of the Doctor Who episode, which I didn't know there was Doctor Who. I'd never watched it, where they went back in time, apparently, or something like that, and got Vincent van Gogh from the past and brought him into the future.
Oh, okay.
And they took him to an art gallery and had him listen to all these people going on about how phenomenal his art is.
Yeah.
And then I think they took him to some sort of classroom where some art professor was discussing about the intricacies of how phenomenal and amazing an artist Van Gogh was. All words he never heard during his lifetime, because he died, slightly insane, but died without ever having sold a single painting.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of there was a really interesting thing there about how we perceive our own art in our photography versus how others value it or don't.
Yep.
And what kind of longevity will it have, if any, or have we ever taken anything that's going to stand the test of time other than family shots?
Yeah,
just sort of opened a whole interesting discussion. Well, the thought process around someone as talented as a Van Gogh is still completely ignored.
Yeah,
yet post death, the value of his artwork became
it went up,
noticed.
Or
even just it got public. It's not even about monetary things, but just about recognition that this was great art.
Yeah,
and I just wonder about how we see our own photography and our own perception about our own negative thoughts and self-doubt about the art. And let's face it, everything we take we take with intent is an artistic intent.
Yeah,
we shoot with whatever our abilities, we shoot with an intent to try and craft something as good as we can with the abilities we currently have.
Yep.
But there's always that, I'm not good enough, everyone's always better, why am I even bothering? And there's that whole thing around photo mojo, people losing their photo mojo because of they're comparing with others and feeling inadequate or feeling uninspired because they can't shoot like other people. So I just thought that so I'm actually going to show, apparently there's a clip on YouTube about this Doctor Who episode where they've been sent forward. So I'm going to try and look that up and watch that, because I think it's a fascinating insight into how we perceive ourselves as artists.
Yep.
And Ren's song Hi Ren, which I talked about a few years ago on the podcast, is all about that self-doubt. And in fact, he's 2 talks ago, before Dog Car Window, my talk was, my photos are I don't know why I bother. It was the name of the talk, and that was inspired by that song, because it's all about battling that inner doubt.
The whole imposter syndrome.
Yeah, and it's amazing that regardless of the level of photographer or artist or sportsman I've talked to in life, they all have the same thing. Regardless of you might have had them on a pedestal, and they're still having the same drama and same doubt.
Since 2005, Shutters Inc. has been a labour of love. But beyond the time required to produce it, there is also a financial commitment. If you find value in the podcast and would like to help keep the servers running, hit up the Patreon link, which is in the show notes. Even a couple of dollars a month will help. Much appreciated. Now, back to the podcast.
So that kind of brings me circle back to my main talk of the evening. Thing I want to talk about is I'm in the early process of completely changing the way I shoot.
Yeah, right.
So my entire approach to how I shoot, not what I shoot.
No, I get that.
Or even the end result of what I capture.
Yeah. But
the method of shooting.
You're not doing the Joe Edelman thing, are you?
What did he do?
Doesn't matter.
What did he do? No, seriously. What did I?
Okay, so he put up this 4-part post on his blog, probably 12 months ago. Actually, probably more than 12 months ago now.
Oh, see, someone always does it before you. It's the same self-doubt again. This is already better than mine.
No. So his whole thing was select your shutter speed according to how much you want to freeze the action or blur the action. Right? So just forget everything else. Just set the shutter speed according to how much action or lack of action you want to capture.
Yeah.
Set your aperture according to how much depth of field you want.
Is that a separate shot?
No. This is all one shot, right?
Okay.
Set your camera...
Nothing revolutionary here so far.
Not yet. Set your ISO to auto.
Yeah.
And shoot in manual.
Yeah.
And just let the camera, choose the ISO based on the shutter speed and aperture that you've gone with, rather than, I don't know about you, but I've always sort of, up until I read this post from Joe, I'd always gone with set my ISO to what I the amount of noise that I was comfortable with in an image, and then basically shoot in aperture priority after that. Unless
I've been shooting that way for ages. All my street stuff I do when I travel around the world, it's auto ISO, manual, fixed shutter speed, fixed aperture.
Yeah, right.
500 f8 auto ISO.
Wow.
Because I need a shutter speed fast enough to stop my movement, my hand movement plus their movement.
Yep.
Within reason. F8 to make sure if I don't snap on focus exactly right, focus is pretty good.
Yep.
And auto ISO, that's my standard method anyway.
Okay.
So, yes, I agree completely with Joe. As far as anything where something can happen and there's no time to craft anything better.
Sure.
So when you're traveling the streets of, let's say, India, and you're walking around a corner and something happens instantly, there is no time to let me consider the artistic merits of said shot.
Right.
It's I've got 0.3 of a second to get a photo.
Yep.
And this will be what it will be. And generally, it's a fast shutter speed because you can't predict when movement will be good in a photograph.
Yep.
Where most of the time you want to freeze something.
Yep.
Movement looking good in the photograph is something I would be taking my time to organise.
Yeah, you have to plan
That's
for it.
I've come across a scene where this is dynamically... This happened the last trip to India. We're walking down this small laneway. There was this really busy laneway, as they all are. But there's this guy kind of under a bench, under a part of a building. It was kind of hidden in this little alcove, basically.
Oh, yeah.
And that was his shop. It was like a 4 foot wide by 2 foot deep shop where he was selling chai.
Okay.
But on top of him, there's a small river. On top of him, there was another place like that, and another guy with another shop selling other stuff above him.
Right.
Also about a 2 foot by 4 foot.
Wow.
And then next to these two little shops, there's a guy sitting in a chair, but then there's all this movement going back and forward, back and forward.
Yeah.
So I think, well, that's awesome to show these guys working.
Yep.
And then frozen.
Yep.
And then the movement showing the blur, and that's how you get the life into the shop.
Yeah,
so he sat there and did half a dozen, 10 shots or whatever to get the moving elements in the right sort of tone and colour and spot. But that takes a little bit of time to think that process through.
Yeah.
Whereas normally, you said, if you're walking around a corner and it's there, you've got a fraction of a second, you need everything to be set up. So I've shot like that for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
But whenever there's a chance to step back to craft something more creatively, let's say I don't want to shoot f8, I want to shoot 2.8.
Yep.
But when I have a little bit of time, then it's off auto ISO and choose all settings for vibe or feel or whatever it may be. So I think there's a time and place for both methods. I certainly wouldn't shoot everything on a tour with just auto ISO and two fixed settings because it would really limit your creativity.
Yep.
But there's certainly a time for, let's say, 70% of the time you can be beyond that. Now, what my change is I'm working on is I've shot a lot over the years, and I've shot to the point where I've got to the point when I'm shooting that I don't know there's a camera in my hand. People will say the camera is an extension of my body.
Yep.
So I almost ignore the camera. I don't think about settings most of the time.
Yeah.
I almost don't think about what lens I'm using. It's just about visualizing. It's the external of me element that is all I really think about. Sometimes I'll stuff up because I haven't thought about numbers and I've used the wrong, because I just literally, I don't even think about shutter speed. I don't think about the art of photography properly anymore.
Yeah, right.
Because I'm so beyond even thinking about the camera.
Yeah.
I can spin every single dial, do everything with that.
You're Neo in the Matrix.
Yeah, well, in a stupid kind of way, yes, to the point where it's all so fluid.
Yeah.
But it's become thoughtless.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of gone beyond. You get to a point where it's really handy to be that fluid, but then you get to a point where your brain disengages from anything to do with the actual photography, per se, the actual art of taking a photo. The joy of taking the photograph doesn't exist for me because I don't even... It's not like I don't know I'm doing it, but I'm not... That's not the thing I'm thinking about.
Yeah, right.
So... What I wanted to do, and also because I'm all about speed, everything's doing everything fast, including talking. I want to slow down, and take less shots, and re-engage with the camera for the first time in years, and actually feel myself changing shutter speeds and feel myself connect with aperture and settings on the camera. And also, I need a camera that's going to slow me down. Right. That's not as easy. That's not as easy to use, but the way you access the functions requires you to slow down.
Right.
And do it. So I've been looking at some of these vintage-inspired cameras.
Okay.
As far as, because, the ones with the big shutter speed dials and the manual ISO dials and, the lenses with the actual aperture dials on them again. I want to get back to how I used to shoot 20 or 30 years ago.
You know what they need?
But digitally. What's that?
You know what they need? They need a manual focus lens with an aperture ring.
Yeah.
But introduce the concept of the QWERTY keyboard. So you have f2.8 and then you have f32 and then you have f16 and then you have f4.
Not quite what I had in mind, Bruce. I don't want the randomness. I want the tactileness of connecting. So I've almost narrowed down to changing to Nikon.
Okay.
And because I don't like the Sony camera, the Sony cameras. Again, they're just a box. Again, there's no soul to the camera.
Okay.
And there's no soul to the Canon cameras. There's no soul to the Sony cameras.
What makes you think Nikon will be any different?
There's no soul to most of the Nikon cameras.
Right.
Except for one.
Okay.
So the Nikon ZF.
Okay.
So the ZF is basically an old, 30-odd-year-old Nikon FM2 or FE2 manual auto camera.
Right.
Digital.
Okay.
It has brass dials on the top of the camera to change your shutter speed.
Yeah.
To change your ISO. You've got to manually select on a dial your ISO. You've got to manually select your shutter speed. And with the right lens in the front, you've got to manually select. And you can use vintage manual focus lenses.
Yeah.
But their technology is at a point where their autofocus system can show you in the EVF, electronic viewfinder, or the screen if you're using it, the same focus boxes. So if it's using eye focus, for example, it will lock onto the eye.
Yep.
And it'll have a little white box around the eye. And then when you're manually focusing, once the eye locks in, is actually in focus, it'll turn green.
Right. So it's like focus peaking.
But with a manual, with a 50-year-old manual focus lens.
That's awesome.
And 8-stop image stabilizer built into the body.
Wow.
And it's solid as a brick, like the old cameras used to be. Yeah. And it looks like a camera. And their screen is and people hate this online, so a complete flippy phone. You can turn the screen all sorts of angles, which is kind of nice for shooting on the highs and lows, but you can actually turn it so you can't see the screen at the back of the camera. So the back of the back of the screen is the same leather panel as the rest of the body of the camera.
Right.
So when it's closed, it looks like the camera has no screen.
Ah, wow.
So you basically have a
retro camera,
a retro film camera, but with all the modern conveniences of digital.
Wow.
That will take me back to how I used to shoot, because it basically operates the way. Now, you can use all the same. You can use autofocus lenses. You can use, all the ModCon features if you want to, but you can also not have any of those on. And I think that process will help me re-engage with slowing down and shooting, and therefore hopefully being even more. So I understand why people want to shoot film cameras, because it slows you down to the point where you're really discerning about each and every shot that you take. Well, I hate film, but I want a camera that slows me down, makes me more discerning at those times, that allows me to be more dedicated to the actual shot. So I don't know if it will work. I'm going to loan one from Nikon to give it a try, to put it through its paces, to see if my theory of how it will make me shoot is actually ends up the reality of how it makes me shoot.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, so I figure, here's the thing: is I figure if I'm going to reinvest in all new camera gear, it's my last ever new gear. Yeah, because at 61 years old, I'm not doing this for that much longer. So if this camera, say these cameras last me 5 or 6 years, like my last lot have done. I'm 66, 67. I won't be needing new gear. Yeah. So if I was going to invest now in gear that will take me forward until the end, I want it to be aesthetically pleasing, which these cameras look to be. Yeah. But also fun to use because of how it makes you shoot, not just a tool, which is what most modern cameras are. Yeah. They're a functional tool, they're highly amazing, phenomenal, incredible, but they're tools. There's not a lot of joy. I don't get a lot of joy in pressing the button. Right. I get a lot of joy in going out and doing. Yeah. That's great. But I would like to get a little bit more joy back in the actual shooting process. Yeah. Just as an interim idea. Please, yeah. What if you took your current methodology of, 500 f8 as your starting point,
But don't use auto ISO. Force yourself to choose an ISO that's going to work for that image, and then force yourself to select a shutter speed and an aperture that works. Now, I don't know how you're going to make that work in the context of, you're walking down a busy lane in India and you've only got a nanosecond to make the decision. Yeah. I don't know. It was just a thought.
No, I completely agree with you. And yes, I could change the way I shoot now to be more, discerning is not quite the right word, to be more present is probably the best word.
Yeah.
But the style, the camera doesn't give me any joy.
Yeah, right.
I don't enjoy the camera. I use Canon 5D Mark IV. It's great, phenomenal cameras, incredible workhorses, but tactile sensation of using is not there. It's the right tool for the job. It's a perfect tool for the job.
Yeah,
but that doesn't cover all satisfaction bases.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, if I just wanted the right tool for the job, any camera I've owned over the last 10 or 15 years would still do the job.
Yeah, right.
As far as being able to create the kind of shots that I do, the camera actually doesn't matter. But I kind of want the camera to matter again, Bruce.
Yeah,
and I can see why people buy Leica digitals. Yeah, it's the same. It's the pleasure of using and the way it makes you shoot. No, I don't have the wherewithal to go out and buy Leicas, but I was back in the day a Nikon manual shooter, and so there's a certain nostalgia, and I know nostalgia is not what it used to be, but there's a certain nostalgia in going back to that style of camera and operating it like I used to that many years ago. So it could all be a fool's dream, Bruce, that when I actually get it into my hand and practically use it, it doesn't live up to what my mental expectations are.
At least you are in the fortunate position where you have the street cred that you can reach out to a company like Nikon and go, hey, let me borrow this for a minute to try something out.
Absolutely.
Most of our listeners wouldn't have that capacity, so you're in a fortunate position that you get to do that.
So I mean, there are ways that you can get involved in that same. So, as an example, down here in Victoria, there's what's called the Bright Festival of Photography.
Sure.
And Nikon, or Nikon if you're in America, Nikon have a booth, and you can go out and they will loan you a camera for a day.
Wow.
You can go out for a day and shoot with the camera. Yeah,
wow.
And most brands will do that up there. But you'll also find that stores in different areas, they'll have a night where the Nikon sales rep can. So I know there's a store in Melbourne doing that, I think this week, where their local Nikon guys come in, and you can get a couple of hours with the camera in your hand. Or
wow.
Something. But yeah, and sometimes you can even go into a store, and if you've got a bit of visited those stores over a bit of time,
a bit of a relationship with them.
They'll let you borrow it for half an hour and go and take a few shots in the street. You know?
Right.
So yeah, yes, I can borrow it for a month or two, and it's a different experience. But there are ways that people who don't have those relationships can still get a chance to trial stuff. You take your own memory card into any camera store and ask to go out the front door and take shots for 5 minutes.
Right.
And they'll let you do it, no problem at all. That's the whole point of having display models.
Yeah, right.
Is for you to go out and so take a memory card in and give it a shot. And that's the same with if you want to try a lens. Take your body with everything and say, go out the front door and take some photos with it. Try some close-ups, some distance up, whatever the lens may be, and then go home and have a look at it and see if it does what you want it to. Try 2 or 3 different lenses. I want to make a decision. I don't know whether to go for the Tamron, the Sigma, or let's say the Canon. Well, try all 3 of them on your camera. Take 20 shots with each of them. Go home and have a look through, and that's certainly viable. But I'm kind of Nikon curious, shall we say, at the moment. I feel, and I don't know if it's an age thing, but I feel it in my bones that I need to shift the way I shoot. I feel the need to return to my roots, shall we say. But I don't want to shoot film. I'm not going to go out and buy a film camera to do it. That would drive me insane. Plus, the price of film is ridiculous. $35 for a roll of 36 just to buy the film.
Yeah, right. And then you got to process it.
So you look at $100 for a roll of film or something. That's just insane.
Yeah.
But I just think
maybe you need to get into wet plate photography, mate.
No, but what I'm hoping for, here's the secret quiet part that I'm going to say out loud.
Yeah,
is what I'm hoping that will give me a breakthrough to give me more shots that I love.
Yeah.
More shots that I'm proud of taking. More than my current percentage. Yeah. To take me to the next level. Yeah, I've been sort of stuck at the same style of shot for a long time, and that might be it. I might have hit the glass ceiling, and that's as far as I'm going. But if I keep doing the same thing, I am going to get the same result. And so I'm looking, and here's the thing: I always carry two bodies, 15 to 30 on one side, 70 to 200 on the other side. I'm ready to go anytime. I'm going back to one body.
Yeah.
And one lens at a time, and that will force the way I shoot. And on the other side, I'm looking at something like Fuji X100 6 or something, just a little retro point and shoot, fixed lens, 35mm camera for its perspective on the world.
I think the other thing that you haven't mentioned in the course of this 15-minute discussion is a large percentage, and I'm going to say north of 99% of what you shoot is stuff you're being paid to shoot. Yeah, whether it's in the case of workshops or, you're going out doing pre-release imagery for, Tamron. There's not a lot of time where you actually get to go out and shoot for your own pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's certainly no joy in either of those scenarios. Oh, the tour stuff is different. I mean, you are experiencing stuff that, but at the same time, as with everything, I'm so cognizant of trying to set up stuff for other people that the actual shooting time for me is
exactly.
So when it comes to workshops, what I say at workshops is every single shot we ever do at a workshop is actually just the starting point. I would start at any shoot I was actually doing for myself. So the photo we take at a workshop, all the setup, all down to seeing how we did what we did, that shot we actually take would be the part I would start to shoot from if I was shooting for myself. Okay, we've established the look, we've established the light, we've established the part. Now, how do we craft it to make it better than what it already is? And that's the time I don't ever get to spend. And so all the shots tend to be a little bit the same because I get the establishment shot, the shot that establishes what we're trying to do, and I don't get time to work on the nuance. And I think it's a good point. So I'm hoping, again, something along that kind of process will make me, as I said, I might be a complete pipe dream, might be completely, I might end up just going shooting with the same old stuff until it breaks. Who knows?
Yeah. I guess it's going to come down to whether or not you, A, are able and B, are willing to go out and do some shooting for your own pleasure when shooting for an income is what you do, when you're not on the couch.
No, exactly. No, it's a big fear that a lot of photographers go away on breaks and don't take cameras with them.
Right.
But I don't think. I mean, like getting that little Clickster camera this week, I was out just as it is, straight out the front door, go for a walk and taking silly photos in the neighbourhood just for the joy of shooting. Not for to see what the results are like and all that kind of stuff.
Do you know what? Sorry.
What's that?
It's just occurred to me, like you asked me what I'd been up to in the last 6 weeks, and I said, not much.
Yeah.
But now having just had that discussion about, you get paid to do it and then, it's putting the time aside to go out and do it for your own pleasure. 3 weeks ago, my best mate, Dave, who I think of as an incredibly talented singer-songwriter,
yeah,
he and I have been recording his music for a quarter of a century.
Yeah.
And he was in a work role for 10 years, and he told me probably back around April or May that they had just advised him that they were not renewing his contract at June 30. And I said to him, what are your plans? And he said, well, I don't know yet. I'm, got a few irons in the fire, but nothing lined up. And I've got a 3-month runway, so I'm not stressed yet. And I went, okay. So we'd been talking for ages about going on a road trip.
Yeah.
And I was kicking around the idea of the fact that he and I have not been able to record together for probably about 2 years. And so I threw this idea to him a month ago, and I said, hey, what do you think about this? We go and hire a cabin in the Barrington Tops, and we'll take guitars and mics, and I'll take my laptop, bring my audio interface, and we'll just record for 3 days. And he went, mate, I am all over that. So we went and booked a cabin. And it was a place that Kath and I had been and stayed at, pre-COVID, so probably back around 2018, 2019. And I didn't even know what it would be like as a place to record.
Yeah.
I knew what the cottage was like. It's this beautiful timber cottage, and one end wall of the main living space was all stone. And it just turned out to be the most amazing spot to record. This high gabled timber roof, just beautiful acoustics. We rolled up there. Dave had one song written. We came away 2.5 days later with 6 songs completely tracked.
Wow.
We just had the best time. And, it's kind of exactly what I was just talking about. Like, I get paid to do this crap 40 hours a week, but I love it so much that I will happily go and do it with a mate for 3 days.
And you're doing this recording right now.
Exactly. So I guess if you love it enough, you will find the time to go out and shoot for yourself and just do something.
But I think that's for so long. Other than the workshop stuff and shooting for clients, the only actual shooting I did was the excuse to go out to see the places, to meet the people.
Yeah.
The actual photography was kind of secondary to that joy of meeting. That wasn't secondary. It was as much as it was an excuse to go out and talk to people, to photograph them. The camera was the excuse to do it.
Yeah.
But I kind of want to make the camera the reason to do it.
Yeah. Okay.
Rather than the excuse to do it. And I think, I said, it's not formed. This is just what's been mulling around in my head the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, nice.
And when I looked at I threw it over every camera on the market, what has the aesthetics that I would feel close enough to get that joy, and the Nikon ZF, if you're in America, is that, and that's it. I haven't even held the thing in my hand.
Yeah,
but it feels right already, which is be very curious to see after I actually get one in my hand and go, oh, that who knows? But yeah, so that's we'll talk about as it progresses through the ideas and to trialing and then shooting, and we'll talk about it more and see how it works out, and see if I'm a fool, if I'm so that's real photography stuff, Bruce.
Awesome. I love it.
Genuine actual photography. We actually talked our own for once. So we'll have to record again soon to talk about the other stuff we were going to talk about.
Yeah, for sure. I had a bunch of stuff from Carl Hemmings and Paul Sutton, and
it's just I didn't even bother looking anything up this week because I knew that I hope this discussion would be of enough interest to people that we think about how we shoot, and then by chance that Vincent van Gogh thing coming up about the perception of what we should. So it's my progress in going to the how, and then there's that concept of the how we're perceived about what we do, and there's a lot of synergy about the others as an artist.
Do you really
what
care?
Other people think?
Yeah.
Everyone does.
Okay.
Everyone cares to some degree. No one.
I suppose
the thing is, and I guess here's the thing though: critique from someone you don't respect is meaningless. It has no effect on you.
Sure.
When a peer or someone you look up to denigrates your stuff, that has a lot more. So it depends who's doing it.
Yeah.
Who's saying good or bad, you know? Yeah. So I think so. Yeah, it's never an easy question to answer that. Do you care? Well, it depends who's saying it.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, if someone I really look up to that I may, let's say, and there's not a lot of, I don't follow photographers that way. If my mind was wired in a way that I really looked up to someone, I would love to emulate stuff like that, and then they looked at my work and said, oh, that.
Yeah,
that would be pretty. I would imagine that'd be pretty devastating.
Yeah,
I don't. My brain doesn't work that way. It's wired differently. And if a peer, so someone that you kind of think, oh, I'm a same kind of level, not someone you look up to. So and they go, oh, gee, Glynn, what's wrong with your work at the moment? It's all. I might take that more on line of reassess and have it actually look. And if I still felt it was good, then I wouldn't care again.
Yeah.
And then if someone who doesn't know anything even about photography goes, oh, I could have done that with my phone. That well, I wouldn't care because I know that.
Yeah.
So it does depend on who. But so yes, absolutely, I care. it depends on what level of care and at the same time, my images are what gets me money,
work. Yeah, absolutely.
So I kind of have to care that. Yes. But what I would love is to be better. I think that's what we all want to be.
Oh, totally.
We all want to be better. But I'm 40 odd years into this.
Yeah.
And I've glass ceiling 10 years ago. And even that's not true, though, because I know we're waffling on a lot this episode, but I've been playing around with matte black and whites this week. So rather than my really heavy contrasty black and white edits, I've been softening the black and whites and giving them more of a matte finish rather than a contrasty finish.
Right.
And just experiencing vision in a different way. So we're always trying to change and grow and see an end result in a different way. So so glass ceiling, I don't know. I'd like to think some of my work is better now than it's been in the past. I don't know, but I think the problem with the type of stuff that I do, the travel stuff that I do, it's so situational. That's like when we were at the Taj Mahal last in November, all this fog bank coming in gave us an opportunity to shoot images of the Taj Mahal that I had not seen much of like that.
Right.
And craft and create images that are wow, that's an amazing image. But that was nothing to do with me, more so than some fog rolled in, So it's situations or the opportunity to go into as I've done in the past, go into a nomadic snake charmer tribe in the middle of the desert that no Westerners have ever been into. That situation allows you to capture stuff that is not of the ordinary.
Yep.
And you just hope that you can capture an image that's worthy of the moment, and some are successful and some aren't,
Yeah.
But we keep working to want to be better.
Of course.
Otherwise, why would you do it?
Yeah.
As well. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I say that about golf. If everything was perfect, if every shot was a hole in one, you wouldn't do it. We don't want every photo to be perfect. We want lots of them to be to be okay and a few to be great.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where the reward is. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just like the great to be more greater. Yeah. But that more greater is not outside perspective. That's my own feeling of them.
Yes.
But when I look at an image that I've shot, other than remembering the moment, I also remember all the problems. I also remember the technical issues or the mundane stuff that made, I've done this shot 15, 20, 100 times.
Yeah,
this shot's really good, but it's not that much different from these other 50 that I've got. It's just a different person in it,
Yeah.
So you've got to get past a little bit of that. And I don't know if a new camera or a new way of shooting will change that, but it might.
Oh, well, only time will tell.
Exactly. So progress to keep watching.
Nice. Great discussion, mate.
Hopefully people found it.
I'd love 6 weeks for.
It's never ever happened, but I'd love people to write in on the Facebook wall and just say, have you thought about this or what about that, or even ask a question about it? Have you considered this in your approach? Because I'd like other people's opinions to try and help guide me as well. So
sure.
Yes, I'm an opinionated who may be rude, but please reach out. Please reach out anyway. I'd love to have a bit more of a discussion around this with more people. Don't bother me personally. Don't text me at home. Facebook wall where I can look at it.
I'll put Glenn's phone number in the show notes, people.
Don't ring the personal number. I don't even answer when my wife calls. Anyway.
Awesome. All right, mate. Well, you enjoy your adventures, and we'll talk to you in a couple of weeks, I guess.
Yeah, hopefully not quite so long next time.
Exactly.
Can I make one suggestion before we hang up?
Here we go.
Can you publish this episode, Bruce?
That will be my intent.
Hey! All right, mate. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too, mate. We'll talk soon.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
You've been listening to Shutters Inc. For questions, comments, and feedback, email theboys@shuttersincpodcast.com.